Hi, it's Lisa Honold here. I am so excited that you wanted to learn more about online safety and how to keep kids safe. First of all, welcome to my new recording space. This is the upstairs of the barn. It is not finished. However, I am using it because I love this space and I can't wait to have it be my business space. So welcome. You're the first ones to get a sneak peek of what it's going to be. I am an online safety advocate and a parent educator, and it is my passion to keep kids safe online because I have 3 kids and I have seen them struggle and I've watched their friends struggle, and I've gotten involved in some of the research behind why this is happening. It is really the perfect storm. I just want to dive in and say, if you're feeling overwhelmed as a parent trying to manage all of the things your kids want to do online, it is completely normal to feel that way. Like I said, it's a perfect storm. What's going on is the technology is always changing. You don't have time to figure out what the next thing that your teenager is going to like is, nor do you, between you and me, really care. It's really hard to stay up to date and to be as active as you need to be to understand, okay, what are the pitfalls to something like a Snapchat or an Instagram? Where do I really want to step in and monitor? And where is it okay for tweens and teens to hang out online? So there's that. The technology is always changing. Also, the technology is somewhat secretive depending on the apps that they're using. If it's like a Snapchat or an Instagram, they have disappearing messages. What is a parent supposed to do with disappearing messages? Even if you wanted to find out what your child was looking at or being sent or sending, you can't with those apps. So there's that. Another thing is, I just want to refer to my notes to make sure yes, we are the first generation to do this. Generations previously, they had their parents' advice, they had other experts' advice, and right now we're dealing with a brand new problem. This whole online safety thing, this is the generation that are called digital natives because they've grown up online. They know about the cloud. They expect to be able to Google anything, anytime, anywhere. This is who we're raising, and it's new. We don't have a set resource yet to go to get information that's good, solid, research-based information. And then there's the whole social media companies. What are they doing? They do not have enough safeguards for our kids to be on there currently. I have hopes that in the future they will. Then another problem that we have is that kids are given technology, they're given smartphones without any guidance or limits or boundaries around how to use this phone, that it is a very powerful computer that they have in their pocket. What happens if they get bullied or say something mean? Are there really strict rules and consequences for how you're going to manage this new technology, this new thing coming into your family's life? Without boundaries, it tends to not go very well. So those are some of the reasons that right now is the perfect storm and why you may be feeling overwhelmed. It's just a lot to take in, and our kids want to grow up so fast, and as they look taller and they look more like adults, it's easy to think that they may have the tools and they are savvy enough to stay out of danger. But the reality is every family I know has stories about how one of their family members has struggled, or someone that they know has struggled with real life issues like pornography, inappropriate content, sexting, bullying, whether they are the bullier or they're getting bullied, and just bad judgment when it comes to technology. So as much as I can, I want to help families and schools prevent digital trauma, prevent this from even happening. And it's possible. We can prevent this. And to the extent that it's already happened, I can help clean up I can help you recover. I can help your family get back on track, but it is a process. So I want to introduce you to what I call the 5 circles of online safety. And it is the foundation for everything that I teach about how to keep kids safe online. There are 5 verbs that we parents can do that will help our kids be successful digital natives. The first one is at the top. It says align, and that's for parenting partners, whether they are ex-spouses or in your life or living separately. It's for the parents to get together and come up with your dreams for your child. What do you hope this child grows up and becomes? I know you want them to be productive. I know you want them to be good citizens. I know you have big dreams for them. Take a few minutes to really think about what those dreams are and how technology can help them support their dreams. All of the amazing things that technology is. Also, align on what some rules will be for your child as you hand them a smartphone, as you hand them a tablet. When they start to get extra privileges, what are the responsibilities attached to the privilege? I work with parents to set up things like contracts. When their child gets a phone, they also sign a contract stating that they've read the rules, they understand the rules, and they're willing to agree to them. Because let's face it, this is still our responsibility, and the technology is ours. We're paying for the service, and we want it to benefit our kids. We want it to keep them in contact with their friends. We want to be able to text a child when we need to get a hold of them, and we need to be smart about how we're giving that to make sure they understand it's a responsibility and a privilege that can go away. That's really the first step, is the align piece. Adults need to come together first, get united on what some of the rules are, and then talk to kids about that, which brings us to number 2, is connect with kids. That's where we as parents talk to kids. What are you doing online? What do you like about it? What do you wish was different? Do you hear what I just said? What do you wish was different? I didn't say who's getting bullied or who is not doing well online. I just said, what do you wish was different? Because that's an open-ended question. There are no trigger words where they know something is bad. Cyberbullying has become really a bad label. And if you say who's being mean, it might be a different answer than who is getting bullied, just because of the fear and the bigness of that word bullied. So it's important just to start a conversation without judgment and really curiosity. Let them be the experts at this point. Let them tell you what they love about their games, what they love about their social media, who they follow and why. Do you know who they follow? Are they good people? Who's following them? Do they let strangers into their lives, or is it a tight community that is really friends that they really know in real life? So talk about that. There's so many things to talk about. So connect with your kids. The third one is be sure and have a filter. Any device that they have access to, whether it's theirs or yours, be sure that there's a filter on that device. That way, most of the inappropriate content can't get to them. So I'm talking about when they're little, a lot of times they use your tablet and your phone. Make sure that that's filtered. As they get bigger and they have their own devices, if you don't want a filter on your phone, that's fine, but put a password on your phone so they can't access it anymore if it's not filtered. So there are many places to get filters. A lot of times they're attached to the antivirus software that you have, and you can find them as apps for your phone. So do a little homework and find a filter that works for your family. On that same note, limit your child's time online. Healthy limits are everything. Just like we make better choices when we have limited time for a project, we don't waste time, we get right to the point. Limited screen time means we do what's most important first, and we don't waste time. Setting healthy limits for online and offline time just makes sense. There are families who use timers. There are families who remember to get their child offline after an hour, if that's their limit. I don't. If I am forced to rely on my brain, it doesn't go very well. And my kids know that. They push it. So if I say an hour and then I file it in my head to remember, usually they get a lot more than an hour because I'm distracted. I'm cooking dinner. I'm doing a million things. And it doesn't come to the forefront until I look up and I'm immediately irritated because there they are on their screen still. So rather than start that drama, I went to an app that actually lets me set limits by app. If I want my kids on Facebook, that's a yes. If I say no thank you, then it completely eliminates Facebook being an opportunity to go to. It also limits time so that if I say Instagram is 15 minutes and then you need to do something else, that's what it does. It's per child. They get bedtimes that are separate for during the week and weekends. And it's a really powerful tool because no longer am I the one who is making their technology go away. Now they know that there's another app that's in control. And they've started setting timers themselves because it is not fun to be in the middle of a game and all of a sudden your internet's off. It's just gone. It's no fun. So they've started setting timers themselves for 5 minutes before that happens so they can start to disengage in a way that makes sense. And I am so proud of them for doing that. That's the filter. The other thing the filter lets you do is if you have a rule like I do, where it's important to have chores done before screen time starts, and you look around and you realize the chores aren't done, you can pause the internet for just one child at a time, or for the whole family, until things happen. You can pause the internet. It's amazing what happens when you have the power to pause the internet. The fifth thing is up here, monitor. Just like when you had a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, you were teaching them how they were going to cross the street all along the way. You didn't just let them look at the street and go for it. You had all kinds of steps built in. You talked about how a person would cross the street. You showed them how you crossed the street. You held hands with them and you let them take the lead. And finally, you let them cross the street themselves, and it was a little scary. And you watched and you made corrections if there needed to be corrections. And this is the same process that I'm asking parents to think about for getting online. Don't just hand them a phone and assume everything's going to be fine. They're good kids after all. What could happen? I will tell you stories of what could happen. They are not good stories. It is smart to check in, to see what's going on, to see their behavior, and to make corrections along the way. Don't get surprised after something monumentally horrible happens. Rather than that, continue to teach them along the way. There are apps that can help. I know some parents have said, well, why can't I just take my child's phone and scroll through it? You can, but it takes forever. You never know if what you're looking at is complete or if there are things that have been deleted or just disappeared. And if your child wants to be sneaky, they sure the heck will be. And the other thing is if you have more than one kid, it is impossible. I think it's hard with one to do that, but with more than one, you don't have enough hours in the day to make sure, absolutely positive, that nothing bad is going on in their phone. So there are also apps where you subscribe to an app that lets you see when there are inappropriate things happening, when your child is being sent something or they are sending something that's inappropriate. You get a notification. It's called an alert. It is really powerful to have a conversation with real information. You know, Johnny, I see that this got sent to you. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what was going on, who sent it, to really start the conversation there. I know in my own world, one of my favorite stories to tell about this, it illustrates that I didn't know I needed to have the conversation until the alert came through. So we were at the Space Needle as a family, and everything was going fantastic. We had a great night. It was outside, lots of celebrations for the New Year's. And the next day, I get an alert saying that my son is looking on YouTube for what does marijuana do to my body? Great question. I wish I would have been asked that question, but great question. I didn't know that the conversations I'd had before that didn't stick. He didn't remember what I told him about marijuana. He didn't care. It just went like that. So now he is curious. He's hungry for the information. I want to give it to him. If he's going to go to YouTube, I also want to be there right next to YouTube to back up our family values, to back up what I know to be true and give him some science and make sure he's looking at good sources for the information that he's curious about. I love that he wants to know information, and I want to support that. This isn't a shaming thing or a way to make him feel bad about what he's curious about. This is a way that I can get in there too. So monitoring, I believe monitoring is the future, and we can monitor in a way that gives our kids privacy and still supports them. As kids who are learning, they need guidance. They are asking for our guidance when it comes to online safety. I believe the parent's role is to be the guardrails for the information superhighway. This concludes the 5 circles of safety in a nutshell, right? I do huge trainings on just this foundational piece, and we go into a lot more detail. What I would ask you to do at this point is share more about your family situation. How can I help you? There are 2 main ways that I can help. The first is coaching your family, getting on track with some rules and boundaries that can be implemented right now that will keep your child safe. If they're already in an unsafe world, we can back up and get them back on track. The other way I can help is at the school level. If you feel like your school needs some help in getting together rules and boundaries for kids, maybe it's no cell phones for certain classes, maybe it's no cell phones at lunchtime. Research is showing that when kids put down their phones and have conversation at lunchtime, it changes everything. So if I can help at the school level, I am happy to make contact with the principal or the superintendent and find a way to help there. Those are the 2 ways I can help. What I'm going to do is send you a link with my appointment schedule so that you can book 20 minutes. It's free. There is no obligation, and you're not out anything. So I hope you take advantage of this. Let me know how I can help. Let me know who I can contact at the school level. Let me know how it's going for your family. What specific questions do you have? I would love to keep sending videos and content for you that's relevant, and that means you don't have to do all the research that you're currently doing or feel bad about being feel bad about not knowing everything. It's overwhelming, and I get it. So I want to help you. Let me know how I can help you. Book some time with me so that we can talk. If you'd like more information, go to my website, parentingdigitalnatives.com. I am also on Facebook, Parenting Digital Natives. Can't wait to talk.